Thank you, girls and guys, for jumping on the call tonight. My name is Corey Mayo. I am the founder and CEO of Team Living Healthy and Fit. I'm super excited to do this co-host with Jess. We just kind of this week decided, hey, let's swap calls and kind of team up and share some information with both of our teams. So Jess is gracious enough to host tonight's call and share about the Marketing Impact Academy with us. Jess is a 2-star diamond. She was 2015 Premier Coach. She is a Success 5 and Success Club 10 All-Star, and she is a team leader. If you guys don't know Jess or you haven't been following her, she's a super sweet woman who has a baby, Rowan, who is a year old, just turned a year old, who is adorable. And she has an amazing voice. So if nothing else, follow her to listen to her sing because she is amazing. She just has this really awesome energy about her, very positive and uplifting. So without further ado, Jess, I'm going to turn it over to you. Super excited to listen to what you have to share with us tonight.
Gosh, thank you so much, Corey. That was the nicest introduction we've received from anybody.
Oh,
yeah. So guys, as Corey said, my name is Jess. I know that about half of you guys here tonight are on my team, so you guys know who I am. But for the other few who don't know me, I'll just share a little bit about my story and my background so you can get to know me a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is share some of my top takeaways from, I just attended Chalene Johnson's Marketing Impact Live in LA this past weekend. So I'm going to share a few of my top tips for you guys, things that you can start implementing in your business right now as a Beachbody coach. Because MIA isn't Beachbody specific. So I've kind of tweaked it and turned it into things that you guys can use for action steps right away. So first of all, so as Corey said, my name is Jess. I've been a coach now for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in like a little over a month. Oh my gosh. So when I found Kelly, so Kelly is my person sponsored coach, Kelly Hanner, or I'm her person sponsored coach. She's my upline. So I found Kelly on Instagram about 2 years ago. And at that point, I was a recent master's degree graduate, so I've got 2 degrees, and I was working in retail. So I was feeling extremely unfulfilled in my life. I'd been married for less than a year, and I was about this close to divorce. Not because of anything my husband did or didn't do, but I was just so deeply dissatisfied with myself and my life that, I just didn't know what else to do. So I thought that, hey, I need to make a change, and maybe getting out of this relationship, getting out of this marriage will do that. And I didn't realize like how depressed I was and how unfulfilled I felt with every facet of my life. So I stumbled upon Kelly on Instagram, and I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but I saw her post that, she was now hiring, and I read it, and it was like, if you love health and fitness, if you love to travel, if you want to be your own boss, if you want to work from home, no experience required. And I was like, what the heck is this thing? Like, how is that even possible? So I reached out to her. And the rest is history. Within a week of starting 21 Day Fix, my husband and I were doing it together. Our relationship was better than ever. After we finished our first round of 21 Day Fix, we got pregnant. So we really have a little Beachbody baby. Rowan is our Beachbody baby. And, ever since then, I've been able to retire myself. I didn't even have to take maternity leave pay after Rowan was born because I was making more money through coaching, working just a couple hours a day than I ever did at any corporate job. So for me, my big why is that I want to have a life of freedom. I want to earn enough money so that I don't have to worry about money. I want to be at a place where, I'm helping people every single day and I'm feeling fulfilled with what I'm doing. But first and foremost, I'm getting to spend all my time with my family because to me, that's the most important thing. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about where I came from and kind of where I'm going with things. So with that, I'm going to dive right in. I've got, I think, 10 kind of top takeaways. If you're a numbers person and if you like to kind of bullet out your own points, I've got 10 takeaways that I'm going to be sharing from Marketing Impact. And like I said, if you don't know what Marketing Impact Academy is, Chalene Johnson does she does like Smart Success, and she does Marketing Impact Academy and Courageous Confidence Club and like virtual business assistants and all this. So she has all these different academies that she puts on where she just like teaches you the ins and outs of business and online marketing and all that stuff. So I, a couple months ago, signed up for this. It's like $2,000 US. So it was like $3,000 Canadian to sign up for this. But I've learned so much. So if you ever get a chance to take any of Chalene's courses, it's worth the investment. I'll say that right now. So the first tip that I want to share with you tonight, my top takeaway, to be honest, if you take nothing else out of this tonight, then I want you to remember this. I know that as coaches, we always talk about how important it is to share your story. But I want to kind of take that a step above and beyond and say how important it is to share your why publicly. So that's kind of why with my story tonight, I talked a little bit, I kind of told you where I come from, a little bit about my story, but I also shared my why. Like I said to you guys that my goal is to, make enough money so that I don't have to worry about money. I want to be there for my family and have that freedom to always be for my family and be there for my family and help people. So when we share a story, that definitely helps people to relate to us more. But when you share your why, it makes us feel connected even more so. It makes us want to follow you, makes us want to join you. What is important to us becomes important to them. So instead of just sharing your story, you need to make an effort to also share your why. So this is something that you can dribble into your posts. You can kind of breadcrumb it in, or you can even just straight up do a post every once in a while where you just, talk exactly about, maybe why you love coaching because it's helping you get closer to achieving your why. Okay, but that's the big thing. We need to share our whys publicly. Chalene gave an example at Marketing Impact, and she told us about this guy. His name is Mac, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard, there's been a lot of talk recently about like, today is National Ice Cream Day, today is like National such and such day. Like it's like this weird fad right now where there's like every single day of the year has like a special holiday associated with it. Anyway, there's this guy, his name is Mac. I think Mac Holiday is what his YouTube video is called, or channel is called. So he does every single day, puts out a video saying like what the special holiday of the day is. And I mean, he kind of shares a little bit about like why he is interested in it, and he shares a bit of a story, but then he tells you why. He tells you why he's interested in holidays. And the reason is because when he was 15 years old, his father committed suicide. And then a few years ago, as he was dealing with this and working through it, he realized that his birthday, Mac's birthday, is National Suicide Prevention Day. So for him, that's his why. He realized that there was that wasn't a coincidence, and that there was a reason he was meant to do this thing and share with people, to bring them some type of joy every single day. So that is his why. And right, like at first you're like, oh cool, like a holiday every day, how novel, how sweet. But then you hear his why and you are connected to him. And I guarantee you guys are going to go and look up his YouTube channel after this, right? Because you want to be connected to him. So that is why we share our why. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, this is something I've been preaching to my team, and they have been rocking it. So I'm so proud of them for that. But you've got to do live video. You've got to do live video. Facebook now has this awesome thing where you can do live video. I am one of those weirdos who, for whatever reason, I still don't have it on my personal page and in my groups, but I have it on my like page. So if you don't have it on a personal page, create a like page and start doing live video there. Live video is basically, in business, there's no real shortcut, except live video is like that little bit of a shortcut. Because what we do as coaches, it's all about building relationships with people. People need to know us, they need to like us, and they need to trust us, right? It's that know, like, trust factor. And that takes time. It takes time for people to get to know us and to like us and to trust us. But live video is that shortcut to kind of, it's that shortcut. It just kind of accelerates that process of people getting to know us and trusting us. So I encourage you guys, if you're not going live yet, if you're not doing video, try to do it at least once a week to start, and then kind of build it up to a couple times a week. And it doesn't have to be very long at all, literally even 60 seconds, because Facebook actually really likes short videos. And think about it, people engage with short videos. They're going to finish a short video much easier than they're going to finish a long video. But I really encourage you guys to start doing live video. And the thing too is that, like, of course it's scary the first time that you do live video. I remember when Emily did her first live video, she was like, WTF, like I have no idea what I'm doing. She's like, I'm really nervous, like, but she did it. she did it, and now she rocks live video all the time and gets lots of engagement, like participating and asking questions and commenting, and like she does it no problem at all now. So it's one of those things, you just have to practice it. So you just need to start. You need to realize that your first one's not going to be very good. Like my first one, I'm pretty sure I was like, is this on? Is anyone here? Like I had no idea what I was doing. So you need to really just start with that. So live video, if you're not doing live video, you need to start. Because as Chalene says, like live video is literally your shortcut to building trust with people. Number 3. Okay, so how many of you guys have ever, been forming someone, been kind of maybe going through a script with someone, and then they say to you, they give you an objection, like not right now. Just by show of hands, has anyone ever had that happen to them? Someone says to them, not right now. Okay, so this is what you do with that. You have a freemium. So I don't know, if you don't know what a freemium is, this is what Chalene, this is what she calls, it's like a lead magnet. A freemium just means like some free gift you can give to someone. And this can be as simple as having a free group. We always do like, 7-day free meal plan, or like free eating groups or clean eating groups, or like a 5-day squat challenge or whatever. So those count as freemiums, because then you have a place to continue putting someone, or you have a way to continue building that relationship. Because I know it's always awkward, right? When someone's like, yeah, not right now. And you're like, okay, like, cool, thanks. Bye. And then you just do the awkward, like, right? You want to watch New Girl? You're just like, I don't know what to do now. So if you have a freemium, that you have a place or something to share with them, to just keep that relationship open, to keep providing them with value for them to continue knowing, liking, and trusting you, right? Because a lot of times when they're not ready, it's usually just some sort of fear. It's based on like a fear of like they're not going to succeed, or maybe they just don't know you well enough. They don't trust you yet. They don't trust themselves with you yet, right? So having a freemium, having some free thing you can give to somebody is a way for you to continue that relationship and get them to a place where they trust you more, and then maybe they're ready. So for example, it could be something as simple as, like I said, a free group. That's something that as coaches we do all the time. Another thing you could do is even like a free PDF, maybe take like your top 7 favorite recipes or something, or like a meal plan. People love anything to do with eating. People love, because for some reason, people always struggle with that eating part, right? So they love like recipes, they love meal plans. That could be something you put together on Canva. Just make like one little page, a PDF, something that you have to give to them. When they say like, okay, not right now, you just like, you know what, no worries, like I get it. And then maybe the next day or 2 days in a row, you're like, hey, I was just thinking of you and thinking of how you said that your struggle was like, with eating, and you're never sure of like what recipe, what to eat for breakfast. Well, here's this free gift I have for you that can really help you, because I was thinking of you and I've got your back, right? That's going to help them to stay connected with you and to really start to trust you more, right? So again, it could be even something like a video. Maybe you create like a 3-minute video that you put on YouTube that you can share the link with people. And it's like, how to, like maybe your top tip for like carrying or packing like just to carry on and traveling with just to carry on when you travel, or like whatever it is that you are interested in, or something that you're passionate about that you can share with people, something that you think that, hey, you know what, I've got knowledge on this. For me, I know, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of baby-led weaning, but it's like this new fad thing of like teaching a child how to eat instead of like using purees and stuff. So people came to me all the time about that. They're always like, oh, like what's Rowan eat? Like, how does she do that? Yeah, like Jess was one of those people too. Like we used to talk about that. So that's something that I could do. I could create like a PDF or like a couple pages, like in a document of some of my favorite like baby-led weaning foods at like different months that I gave to Rowan. So then when I have someone, maybe I have a mom who like just had a baby like 5 or 6 months ago. And she is thinking about doing the 21-day fix, but she's not ready yet. And then I say to her, hey, by the way, like I know like your baby's, getting around that age where, the next month or 2, she's going to start eating some solids. But, this is something that really helps me and worked for me. So I want to share this with you, right? It doesn't even have to be related to health and fitness, just something free that you can give to them to keep that relationship going. So that's called a freemium. Okay, number 4. This is something that I already started implementing, and I'm so excited already with how it's going. So the power of testimonials. I always heard people saying this, but I never did anything about it. I was just like, oh, like having my challengers tag me on Facebook when they're down 5 pounds is good enough. That's a testimonial. No, it's not. It's not a testimonial. So I actually reached out to a handful of people, and I asked them, I was like, hey guys, like, would you mind like writing, in like 1 or 2 paragraphs, even just a testimonial about, how I've been able to, how it's helped you to work with me, whether you're a coach on my team or whether you're a client, whatever, like just 1 or 2 paragraphs, nothing big, just kind of a little bit about how your life has changed, since doing the program, since being in my group, since joining a team, whatever it may be. And I was a little nervous at first because I was like, it's a lot to ask of people to write this, but let me tell you, like I was crying every single time I read the testimonials. And this is a way for you to share these testimonials to show that like, hey, it's not just me toot my own horn. Like I'm helping people. This is what other people have to say. Because sometimes your word isn't enough, right? If you don't have that trust factor yet, then people need to hear it from somebody else sometimes. And the other thing with that is, this is what I have found. And this is going to sound kind of weird maybe, but because I'm like 2 years into my journey, like not everyone's going to be able to relate to me. Like I'm a mom, but I've got a 6-pack. Like, yeah, I got a 6-pack. But other people out there, like so is Jess, but other people out there who are maybe new moms, they're not going to be able to relate to that because I'm like 10 steps ahead of them. So by being able to share someone's testimonial who's maybe just like 1 or 2 steps ahead of them, that makes them feel more connected. That makes them be like, oh, like that I can relate to, that I can do. Because sometimes we're just so far ahead of them on our journey that we're not relatable anymore. So testimonials are amazing. I'm in the process of like, I've hired someone to do up a website for me finally. And I'm going to have those testimonials on my website. So I'm really excited about that. So even if it's just like, having at the end of maybe you make it like, gosh, maybe you make it a bonus task at the end of your challenge group, for a free sample of Shaco, you're going to, everyone who gives a testimonial, or you're going to draw, everyone who gives a testimonial, you do a draw for a free sample of Shaco or Hydrate or Energize or something. But testimonials are so important to grow your business because then you can share those and other people are going to see it and they're going to relate to those testimonials. Because again, we relate to people's stories, right? So a testimonial is just you sharing someone else's story. So all right, number 5, scheduling. I am so bad at this. I am the type of person, I don't know if anyone can relate, I'm the type of person who for the first like year and a half, and let's be real, until yesterday, the first 2 years of my business, I was like, what am I feeling like today? Oh, like what did I have for lunch today? Let me just post a picture of that. Oh, like, let's see, what am I doing today? Oh, I can post about this. Like I was all over the place. I didn't have any type of scheduling system in terms of my days, in terms of like my weeks or my months or my years even. Like I didn't have anything planned. Even like with Kelly's social media training, for anyone who's done that, she's all about like creating a schedule. And I tried it and I did not stick to it at all. But this is something that Chalene stresses about so much, the importance of having a schedule, because we're in the business of like sales and marketing. Realistically, I mean, like, yes, it's about helping people, but the way that it's framed is in sales and marketing, right? So you need to plan ahead with your posts. So she actually got us to start by writing down every month of the year, and then stopping for a second and thinking, okay, like what happens in these months? What are like special things that are happening that I can use to like work around, right? So like in January, like New Year's is a big one, right? Like February, Valentine's Day. So you kind of like, May is my birthday, so I can have like some fun thing. Like, it's my birthday, I'm doing a giveaway, like whatever it is, right? So your marketing plan can be scheduled around holidays. Monthly, you can schedule your marketing plan around like the programs that Beachbody puts on sale. That's a super simple one. So like maybe if you've always done a 21-day fix challenge group and then next month like Turbo Jam's on fire, try doing a Turbo Jam group, because it's a way that Beachbody's already given you this marketing thing that you can do. So I've actually personally, since I came back from MIA, I created a daily post schedule thingy. So I have like every day of the week, and I have like the topic that I'm going to talk about that day. And I've actually started to schedule some of them in advance as well. So, I mean, if I'm doing like say like 5 or 6 posts a day, maybe only 1 or 2 of them is actually happening on the go. And the rest of them are things I've scheduled in advance, either through Hootsuite, or if you're using a like page, then you can schedule posts organically through your like page instead of just posting to them. Because a lot of times too, like with Hootsuite things, if it's not like a native post to Facebook, sometimes things aren't just they're not gonna get the same traction or the same reach that they would if they're posted like organically. So just be aware of that as well. Yeah, you've got to have a schedule. Even if it's just like this week, these are the things I'm going to talk about. Or like this week, this day I'm going to go live. And this is the day I'm going to, share a piece of my story. This day, I'm going to share part of, one of my challengers transformations. This day I'm going to do this. Even if it's as simple as that, it will make a difference. So I really encourage you to have some type of schedule in place. It changes the game for sure. All right, how's everyone doing? We're halfway through. Does anybody have any questions yet? Or like, does anyone need to take a breather for a second? Are you all doing good? We're doing good. Okay. All right. Number 6. There's a guy named Win Claybaugh. He was one of the guest speakers there. And I don't really know a ton about him. He's an author and he's like a presenter and he's like a bajillionaire. But he talked, he was one of the speakers, and he talked about how his like natural tendency, his natural state is very negative. Like he's a very negative person, he said. It takes him a lot of work to be positive. So I don't know if anyone can relate to that. I mean, a few years ago, I wasn't nearly as positive and like optimistic as I used to be. It's something that, through personal development, I've been able to really become a more positive person, but it's something that we work on, right? It's hard some days to be positive and to stay upbeat and to be optimistic and to always like see the glass half full and to see the silver lining and all those cliches, right? It's hard work. It is. So he talked about the importance of being around people who inspire you, people who lift you up. So a couple of things on that. You need to get to live events. These, like being at MIA, I was at Smart Success last year and being at MIA this year, and even going to like, when our team has like potlucks, when, Super Saturdays, Summit, like all these things, and not just Beachbody ones, like Marketing Impact, it's not Beachbody at all. I mean, there was a lot of Beachbody people there, like Coach Jimmy and, people were there, Christine Dwyer, but it's not just about Beachbody. Any time that you can get to a live event where there are other people who dream big, who are positive, who, just like want to have a life of freedom, who just believe there's more to life than how most people live, you need to make the effort to get there. Like I barely knew how I was going to afford to get to MIA and Summit in the same month. Like we live on the most easterly point in North America, where I live here in Newfoundland. So I just flew to like basically the entire other side of North America to go to this conference, right? Like it was time consuming. It cost a lot of money. It was a big deal, but I got there because I knew how important it was to fill up my cup and be around people who raise me up, who bring me up. Because again, it takes a lot of energy for us to like be in our own little communities, like being the one who's always pouring out to others and being the one who has to like raise that bar and raise that standard for others. So you need to get yourself to live events. You need to get yourself around other people. And that goes the same if you can't always get to live events. I mean, there's only live events happening usually every few months, right? Like the Super Saturdays and stuff. But if you can't get to live events, then at least dive into your team page and your team culture. Get on your team calls. These things, like I know with our team, like we do them every week because, I know how hard it is for us, like to go every day and be the ones who are pouring into others. We need a place to go to get our cups filled too. That's what these team calls are for. This is what your team page is for, whether it's, Corey's page or our page or Illuminate. This is what our community is for. So take advantage of that. Dive into your community, get to live events, surround yourselves with people who are positive, who are dreamers, who believe, big things are happening for them, because that's going to raise you up. And that's going to fill up your cup, because no one else is going to fill up your cup for you, right? You've got to fill up that cup for yourself. Okay, number 7. This is something that is very important just to start doing. So I know we talked about doing video and doing live video at the start. So this one is going to talk about how you can take that one video and basically create like a bajillion posts from that one video. So this is called like batch creating your content. So let's say, for example, that you do a live video, or even you do a recorded video, but you do a video. Let's say that maybe you make like a 10-minute video talking about whatever topic you feel confident talking on, whether it's talking about, manifesting, or talking about, this new recipes that you've been trying, or anything at all. Okay, you do a video. Then from that one like 10-minute video, you're going to be able to cut that down into, say, like 2 or 3 smaller videos that you can repurpose. So this is why, remember, we talked about having a schedule and like a plan for your business. This is why it comes in handy, because then what you can do is take that one 10-minute video, cut it down into, say, 2 or 3 smaller videos, where maybe in that 10-minute video you talk about like 3 or 4 key topics. Then you're going to cut it down into like, take each of those topics and make their own mini video that you can then edit, and like say every couple weeks you post one of those videos, right? You're repurposing your content instead of having to recreate the wheel. Chalene does this like nobody's business. She'll record a video, and when you notice it, like when you know about it, you start to notice it too. Like I'll see now, like being in a bunch of her academies, I'll see now that she's taken like one of her lessons from an academy, but taken like maybe a 45 or 60-second clip and used it as a video on like her Instagram or her YouTube or her Facebook. Or she's taken a live video that she did and then, taken that and repurposed it into content, right, across different platforms. So you're saving yourself a bunch of time. That's another reason why we love video. We love live video, because you can repurpose it. So that one 10-minute video, like I said, becomes maybe like 3 or 4 shorter videos that you can share. And then maybe that becomes, you can even cut it down even further and have like a few like 30-second videos for Instagram. You can make still photos from it. So you can like do a screenshot, like freeze it, like pause it, do a screenshot and create a video from it. Most of the pictures that I use now, like if I have ones where I'm like, or like this, or like even those ones, it's from a video. It's from like, I've got my ring light set up and I just like, I pause the video and take a screenshot of it. Right? So that's another way. And then you can take, and then again, if you have a blog or anything like that, or a website, then you can then transcribe. And when I say transcribe, I mean you hire somebody to do that. You find someone like on Elance or Upwork and you pay them like $3 an hour to transcribe for you. You outsource it. Then you get someone to transcribe for a blog post from that same video that you've already did. So it's already your words. So this is like, I know some of you are like, I'm not there yet. Like I don't have a blog. I don't even have a YouTube channel. Like that's okay. These are just things you can kind of put in your back mind, right? For down the road. Because a year ago, because Chalene talked about this stuff at Smart Success last year, and I wasn't ready for this last year. I wasn't ready for the whole outsourcing thing last year. But I recently hired 2 people to help me. I hired someone to help me with my website, and I've got an assistant in the Philippines now who does stuff for me. So a year ago, I literally was not ready for this. So just realize you're going to get to a point in your business where it saves you time and it saves you money. Because like I look at myself, I remember last year as a coach, I was making like about $10 an hour when I looked at the amount of time I was working and the amount that I was earning. And now when I look at my earnings, I have now, because of the amount I work and what I'm raising or like what I'm earning, I now make about $50 an hour. So I was like, man, my time is worth more than $10 an hour. So I can outsource some work to somebody in the Philippines for like $5 an hour to do like posts for me, or to like challenge, or to like schedule my posts in my challenge groups and do my leaderboards and like that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do that, right? So it's going to just realize that you might not be there now, but you're going to get there at some point. So just recognize that. But the point of that was like repurpose your content, repurpose it across platforms, create one video and then take the time to like break that down into multiple videos and multiple posts and multiple pictures and that sort of thing. Okay, number 8. This is one that, again, took me a while to realize and to really believe, but everything is an experiment. If you look at everything that way, then you're basically redefining what failure and success mean. Because I know so many of us are just scared to do things because we're like, oh, like what if I fail? Maybe that's not the exact word that we're using in our head. Maybe it's like, oh, what if nobody likes this post? Or, oh, what if I like put out this idea and nobody comments on it? Or what if I do a video and no one shows up? right? Those are like, it's just, it all ends up being fear of failure is what it comes down to. But if you recognize that there's no such thing as failure, unless you quit, unless you give up, that's the only time you ever will fail. If you look at everything as an experiment, like, hey, I'm just going to try this out. We'll see how it goes. When you change that mindset, it kind of releases you from feeling like you have to be perfect. Because I am a reformed perfectionist. Jess and I have talked about this before, but when I was a new coach, I remember it would take me like 3 hours to painstakingly craft like the perfect post, and it was like 3 sentences. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that before, but for the first several months of being coach, that's what I did. Like, every post took me like hours to write, even if it was like, this is what I ate for dinner tonight. Yum. Like literally I would like, and then I'd be like, oh my God, do I post it? I'm so scared. But now I've started to realize that like everything is an experiment. There's no such thing as failure. There really is no such thing as failure, because you're going to do something. It's either going to work or it's not, but then you're going to learn from it. And then the next time it's going to be better. Right? So whether it's your first time running a challenge group and you're scared, or your first time running a free group, or your first time doing a live video, or your first time going to a live event, whatever it may be, right? Just look at it as an experiment. Like, no one starts off as an expert. No one starts out as good at anything. But you can become good at everything, right? So just realize that everything is an experiment. There's no such thing as failure unless you quit. And literally fail forward. If you haven't read that book, Failing Forward, or whatever it's called, Failing Forward, you need to read that book, because that's helped me to change that whole mindset as well. So failure is how we succeed, basically. All right, last 2. Number 9. This is one too that, okay, let me tell you what it is first, and then I'll say. So look for, this is in terms of like building your business, looking for coaches. Look for successful people. When you are trying to build your team, look for successful people. And I know that sometimes successful people are the ones that we're the most scared to talk to, or to like share the opportunity with, because we're like, they don't need this. Like, they're already making a 6-figure salary as a lawyer, like rocking their business. Like, they don't need coaching. Or you're like, they're a doctor. Like, they don't need coaching. They're going to say no to me. But here's the thing. If you're serious about growing your business, then you need to find successful people, because, we always say that success leaves clues. So instead of, I know for me in the beginning, I was like, all right, who are the people who would most need coaching? I was like, all right, let's see. Let me find people who are currently unemployed, living on their parents' couches, because they will say yes to the coaching opportunity for sure, right? But if they're living on their parents' couch, unemployed, there's obviously a reason for that. And I'm not judging anyone who is unemployed living on their parents' couches, but, success leaves clues. So instead of like looking for kind of what you think might be an easy yes, look for someone who's already successful in their life. Like, on our team, we have teachers, we have nurses, we have like people who are rocking like hairstyling businesses. We have people who work for the government. Like, we have people who are very successful at what they do. Like, my success partner, she told me today how she earns a 6-figure salary. She and her husband each earn a 6-figure salary doing what they do. But she still wanted to be a coach because she wasn't fulfilled doing what she was doing. Yeah, she had the money, but like, she had no time to use her money. Like, so what good is money if you don't have a life of freedom, right? And you talk to a lot of people nowadays, and maybe they're rocking their businesses and they have a great job and they're making good money, but chances are most of them aren't fulfilled, right? There's something missing, whether it's like maybe they don't help people in their job and they want to help people. Or maybe, like I said, they don't have that time for their family. Maybe they have a rocking income, but they just don't have time to see their families. Whatever it is, everyone has a pain point. So look for successful people, and realize that those people, successful people, they're leaders, and leaders are the people who create successful businesses as coaches. So look for leaders. Number 10, and this is one that I've had to realize the hard way. Oh my God, that was such a dramatic pause, but I was so thirsty. Okay. Now I've built it up. So this is what I've had to learn the hard way. Do you guys know, by show of hands, who knows Natalie Jill? If I say Natalie Jill Fit, does anybody know who that is? She's all over like Instagram and Pinterest and social media. Anyway, she is someone who, she has earned a 6-figure salary. She's actually with Isogenics, but you would never know it because she doesn't brand herself as Isogenics. She brands herself as Natalie Jill Fit. But she was one of the guest speakers, and she was talking about how, you know, over the last several years, she's built, you know, a multi-million-dollar business doing like health and fitness stuff through social media. And she kind of realized, or she kind of like decided last year that she wanted to become a New York Times best-selling author. So she went from doing like, you know, having like kind of basically kind of like what we did with the challenge groups and things like that on social media, to deciding she wanted to become an author. And a New York Times bestselling author at that. So she started writing a book, and, you know, she wrote this book, and then, you know, she had people telling her like, do you really want to do this? Like, and she's like, of course I do. Like, who doesn't want to be a bestselling author, right? And then long story short, she failed. She did not become a New York Times bestselling author. And then she realized, she was like, I didn't even really want that. She's like, I saw other people doing it. I saw like other like cool, big, expensive, or like rich friends of mine, like successful friends of mine doing it. So I was like, hey, I've got to do that too. So here's the thing that I want to kind of boil it all down to. Don't climb the wrong mountain. You could become extremely successful in this business, but if you're not doing it for your reasons, with your goals, with your vision, then what's the point? And for me, this is something that I had to kind of recognize recently, because like last year, at the end of last year, I became a 2015 premier coach, and it was such a big deal. It was like so exciting, and I worked so hard to the point that like the last 6 months of the last 6 weeks of last year, like the holidays, like were the most stressful time of my life, because I was like trying to keep my ducks in a row, trying to keep this coach active and organizing all of that. And I got this title, and then I was like, now what? Like, why? What was the point of all that? Like, so that I can like get a jacket that says 2015 Premier Coach, like, you know. And this year I had everyone, you know, like with corporate, I've been on all these calls with corporate, because they're like, oh, you're, you know, top 40 in Canada, like you're going to be elite this year, and blah, 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 blah. And I had on my vision board, my whiteboard, like right next to my desk, every single day I looked at it, 2016, you know, elite top 200 coach, Jessica Hill. And then I realized just recently, I was like, that's not even the mountain that I want to climb. Like, if I were to get to the top of that mountain, if I were to succeed, if I were to become a 2015 elite coach because I worked so hard for it, that would defeat the whole purpose of why I became a coach. You know, to me, I became a coach to have freedom. I became a coach so that I could work less and make more money, so that I could spend every day with my family, so that I could travel the world, so I could pay off debt, not so that I could walk across stage and like kill myself for an entire year, every year, just to hit these ranks and these goals, right? So this is what I want you to have as your takeaway. Just know that you need to know what your vision is for your business and for your life. And it's so easy to get caught up in, you know, everything that corporate wants us to achieve. I mean, there's definitely, you know, markers of success. Like, yeah, like sure, it's very important to have Success Club and to like, advance your business, because ultimately those are things that you need to do if you want to get to a place where you can work less and make more money and have that freedom, but only if that's your goal, if that's the vision, if that's the mountain that you want to climb. So you need to know what your mountain is. You need to know what success would look like for you, what success means for you. And I realized, and it's funny because my success partner and I both kind of, I told her a few weeks ago, I was like, look, because when we became success partners a few months ago, both of us had the goal of 2016 Elite. And like, that's what we were helping push each other towards. And I came on our success call a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, look, girls, like, I got to tell you something. And I'm really nervous to tell you, but I don't care about elite anymore. And she's like, hallelujah. Like, thank God. She's like, I don't either. She's like, but I was scared to say it because corporate makes us feel like we have to want these things. And I was like, for me, you know, the last few weeks I was feeling, in the last few months, honestly, I was feeling really stressed in my business and in my life, and everything was feeling out of alignment and out of priority for me. And it was because I was focusing on someone else's goals, not my goals. So maybe your goal is elite, and that is freaking awesome if it is, but make sure that it's your goal because that's what you want. Okay. So that's what I want to finish with tonight. I just want you to know through and through what your vision is for your life and for your business. You need to know what success looks like for you, what it feels like for you. I want a very simple life. Like I literally want to live like in Central America on a beach, like in a hut, like and elite has nothing to do with that. Right? But helping people every single day, helping people get results so that, you know, I can teach people to change their lives through the coaching opportunity. That's going to be the thing that allows me to achieve my why and to live out my dreams and to climb my mountain. Right? So instead of having 2016, you know, elite top 200 coach on my board, I have changed 5 lives every month. That's what I changed. And I come down to my office every day and I'm excited to work. I'm like, that is what I want to do. That is what excites me. That is the mountain that I want to climb. I want to climb a mountain by helping people and pulling them up to the top of that mountain with me every single day. So my takeaway for you guys is just to know what your mountain is. Know what you want from this business. Know what you want with your life and work towards that and remember it, because it's so easy, you know, at certain times of the year, especially with Summit coming up, and like it's going to be a big hoopla with like recognition and you know, people getting all these awards and things like that. But just know that as long as you are working towards what is important to you, you are succeeding. Okay, you're living the dream. So yes, exactly. Corey said, follow your heart. Follow your heart. Really, that's what it is. Do what makes you happy. Exactly. So, guys, those are basically my top 10 takeaways from MIA Live, from my, you know, weekend with Chalene. And I would love to open up the floor if anyone has any questions, because I kind of took everything and made it as like kind of oriented towards Beachbody as I could. Because again, like marketing impact, Chalene's courses aren't for like Beachbody. They're for just kind of, you know, marketing and that kind of thing, business in general. But I wanted to have things that, you know, kind of some of the top takeaways that I had that I could apply to my business, because these are things that, you know, we can all apply to our businesses right away. Things that we need to remember, things that change the game for us. They really do. Like even if you just do one of those things I talked about, even if you just start scheduling your posts, you know, knowing what you're going to talk about this week, what topics and when you're going to go live, starting to do live video, you know, knowing what your mountain looks like. Right? Even if you do just a couple of those things, your business is going to change. So that is what I have for you guys. And like I said, if there are any questions, if anyone has, you know, if they have anything they want me to dive deeper into or anything at all, I would love to answer any questions for you guys. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks for your wonderful attention. You guys are so attentive.
Thank you so much, Jess. That was seriously so much great information to take in. And I love, like, the closing point couldn't have been better. I love that you were honest and that you will probably reach elite and being a top 200 coach just by doing and climbing your mountain, but figuring out like what your why is and what makes you happy, because we're doing this to fulfill our lives and to be happy. So let's not get tied up in the monotonous things of it and make it complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I realized that I was like postponing my so the things that were important to me, so spending time with my family and being there for my family, I kept being like, okay, when I just do this, I'll finally be able to live my why. I was like putting off my why so that I could live my why. Like, I was like, I don't even know. I was like, what's the point of this? Like, the whole point of me doing this is so that I can have more time with my family and like pay off debt and travel and do these things I want to do, not so I can like stress about not being with my family. Right? So I realized that something needed to change. And it was when I realized that I was climbing someone else's mountain. I was like, I could get to the top of this mountain, but is this the mountain that I want to be on top of?
That's awesome. Good for you, girl.
Does anybody have any questions or comments even? Okay, Jess, how did you figure out what your mountain was? Good question. Okay. So one of the things that I have done, if you've never done a vision board, actually, so mine's like falling apart now. So I've created a vision board. This is an older one. I literally just like cut things out of magazines and put them onto like a board. This is something that's really important. What you basically need to do, Jess, is sit down with pen and paper, because I just think that pen and paper is so much more like authentic than typing. You need to sit down with pen and paper, and you need to just imagine like nothing is stopping you. Like there's like time, money, space, nothing means anything. What would you be doing? What, from the time you wake up, what time of day would you wake up? What would your entire day look like? Who would you be with? What would you be doing? Where would you be? When I did this, I was a very brand new coach. And the thing is too, you need to do this every once in a while, because my why, my vision has changed significantly from when I was a brand new coach. It's kind of like as you advance in this business, you start to kind of realize that more things are possible. So you're like, oh, like, okay, so I kind of hit that first benchmark. Like now what? Like now I guess I can dream even a little bit bigger. So for me, when I was a brand new coach, it's something that Kelly had me do. I'm not sure if she did it with you, Corey, but she had me like, even before my first like getting started right call, she had me to like write out like a perfect 10 out of 10 day, basically. So for me, a big part of it at that point, like we didn't even have kids, we weren't pregnant. So like that wasn't even a huge part on my like radar, but I was like, all right, you know, I knew that it would look like I was living someplace hot, that I was getting up, that, you know, the ocean was important to me, that being on a beach and surfing were important to me, eating, like being barefoot was important to me, you know, having time to relax and spend time with my husband, like, you know, being in the ocean, being in a hammock, like being active outdoors, helping others. So part of my perfect day at that point was like working at the NGO that I built. Because like that was kind of a component of like something that used to be really important to me, and it still kind of is. But so I had like all these components that were important to me, and I knew that like I wanted to have somebody who was like cooking our meals for us, you know, from like organic vegetables grown on our little eco-friendly farm in the middle of Nicaragua, and you know, like just like homeschooling my child and things like that. Like I didn't even like know if or how or when these things would happen, but I just knew, I was like, man, like what would the perfect day look like? And I even had in there like, you know, go to bed at like 9 o'clock and like get up at like 5 a.m. and like how the sun would feel on my body and like what it would smell like the scent of the flowers. Like you need to just invest your whole body. You need to feel it. And just write it all. And then kind of do like point form too, like the things that are the most important to you. Like, gosh, I should go back and look and see if I can find it, because I know I've got it written down somewhere. But I kind of had like a why list. And again, your why is always going to change. My why has changed significantly from the beginning. But a lot of you guys know my sister Jewel, who's on our team. A big part of my why in the beginning was helping her. Like she at that point, I mean, she's very open about her story, but like struggling with depression and things like that, and just like lacking self-love. Part of my initial why was helping her. So having a why list, whether it's like a specific thing you want to achieve, like paying off a credit card, or, you know, being able to take your family on a certain vacation, or, you know, moving to a new house. Like we've been here in this new house for almost a year now. Like we never would have thought that we'd be able to live where we're living now, because we never thought we'd be able to afford it, or that we even like deserved it, you know. But because of coaching, because of Beachbody, because of me like dreaming bigger, you know, things are happening. So Jess, to answer your question in a very long roundabout way, write down and just like close your eyes and imagine like what a perfect 10 out of 10 day would look like for you. And that right there, and remember, like nothing is stopping you. So if you're like, I wish that we were like in Switzerland, like skiing, and then you're like, oh, but that's not realistic. Who cares what's realistic or not? Like whatever you feel inside of you, that like, and you got to realize too, like society teaches us, like we've been ingrained to like not dream big, to like stifle those dreams because things aren't realistic, because things can't happen, because that doesn't happen to people like us, because we're from Carleton County or like Victoria County or whatever county you guys are in, and like that doesn't happen to people, you know, from New Brunswick or wherever you're from. Like I grew up like pretty poor. So like, you know, traveling the world wasn't something that, you know, that was like realistic for me when I was a kid. So just let go of everything that your family has told you, that society has told you, that other people have told you, and just write down on that piece of paper what would make you like just have like the biggest smile on your face every day, all day long. And that right there is what you should be doing and where you should be and who you should be with. That's how you kind of decide what your mountain is. can you talk a bit about success partners? What do you do? How do you know who to look for? Yeah, great question, Christy. So I found my success partner. Her name is Jenica, and she is so our like up line is Ann Dovell, and she has a team page as well. If you're not in it, if you're my coach, shoot me a message. If you're Corey's coach, maybe shoot her a message and ask to join Ann Dovell's group. I found my coach, my success partner in her page. And basically one day I was like perusing through Ann's team page, and I saw this post from this chick, and I was like, oh man, I wanted to comment on it. And then I started to chat with her, and I asked her, I was like, do you have a success partner? I was like, we should be success partners. Cause she was just kind of struggling with the same thing that I was struggling with. She had hit 2-star at the end of last year, and then kind of felt like she had like stalled in our business. This was like back a few months ago. So I reached out to her and was like, do you have a success partner? Cause we should be success partners. And then in terms of what we do, basically, so every Monday before the National Wake Up Call, we'll hop on Zoom for like 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll kind of say how we did last week. And then we set a few goals for ourselves for the upcoming week. And then we check in every day. We just like usually via text, we'll check in and kind of say like, okay, like I did my power hour. I like signed a new coach, whatever. But we're just accountability partners. We just hold each other accountable. And we also ask each other, like, do I have your permission to hold you accountable? So then if you need to give someone a kind of a kick in the pants, then you can. So like today, for example, because I was traveling on Monday, so we did our call today, tough love, exactly. And she had said, so last week, one of my goals was to go live 2 times. And even when I was at MIA, she wrote me and was like, girl, I've only seen you go live once this week. And I was like, damn it. So I was at MIA, I was like, I got to go live. So I went live, right? So you need someone who, I've had success partners before. I've had a few of them. You kind of need to like interview them almost. You need to see if there's someone who you can relate to, someone who you think is a good fit, someone who like you trust and respect and look up to, but also somebody who you're not like so comfortable with that if you both slack off, it's okay. Like that to me, I need someone who's not going to be like, oh, it's okay that you didn't do this and this and this, like you said you're going to. So know what works for you, know what kind of like companion or like partner that you need. And then find someone. I mean, it could be someone I would recommend. I would say find someone who you don't know really, really well. Cause I've had them before who I knew really, really well. And we just like let each other off the hook all the time. And it just ended up then being like a chat fest. We like hop on our Zoom call and 10 minutes would turn into an hour. And we would just be like talking about the kids instead of like work. So I would say that, yeah, we would just be like, oh my God, like my child is bleeding from the face. Yeah. So I would say check in like Illuminate. Maybe there's someone there, like write in Illuminate and say, hey guys, I'm looking for a success partner. And then just like see who reaches out. Or if there's someone who you already see in Illuminate, who you're like, man, you know what? I like their style. There's someone who maybe I think I could learn from, cause the thing is too, like I've had success partner relationships where it was very one-sided, where we would like have our call and I would be like, wow, I'm just telling you how to run your business right now. So just be aware of that as well. If you want to find someone, I personally think you should try to find someone who's like maybe a step ahead of you so you can really like pull yourself up to their level and learn from them. That's just my kind of personal recommendation. Does that help, Christy? Should I welcome? Really good timing. Great question. Any other questions? You guys are awesome. I kept you here much later than I normally do my team calls, but I just couldn't stop talking. I'm sorry.
No, you've done amazing. We don't mind. At least my girls don't. I don't think they do either. It's been a great call.
Got it. Good. I've missed you too, Christy. I've missed our morning calls. I might need to start doing them again because I've stopped being a morning person. Yeah.
I have a question if nobody else does. What are your 2 favorite or your top 2 personal development books or audio that you enjoy listening to?
Great question. So one of the books I just started on my flight to LA, Awake Giant Within by Tony Robbins. first, I'm only literally like maybe 2 chapters in. It's already changed my life. Literally already changed my life. So I think that you're like #1 book to read. Another one recently that I listened to that I really liked. Oh, good, Karina, that's awesome. Another one I recently listened to was Tribes by Seth Godin. And that was a really good one too. I've got so many of them. Oh, actually, you know what? The 4 Agreements. If you've never read the 4 Agreements, then you need to. And I know a lot of my girls are nodding because they've read it and it's changed their lives too. I've probably read that like 4 times already. And Badass, I mean, You Are Badass. That's my I listened to that on audio probably 3 or 4 times now. And that's my have you seen that video that little girl Jessica on YouTube back when she was like 2 years old? She stands on the bathroom sink and she's like, I love my hair, I love my dog, I am funny. That is what Badass does for me. I will just listen to it when I'm in the shower, when I'm getting ready for the day, when I'm making my coffee, even if it's 30 seconds here and there. It just makes me feel badass. It does. It reminds me that I'm awesome, that I'm worth it, that I can do whatever I want, that I can achieve great things. So that for me is, I listen to that on repeat basically.
Awesome. Anybody else? No?
You guys are wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. You seriously gave us so many good nuggets and so much information. And it's nice to hear it from a different perspective and how you've applied it to your business. And we can't thank you enough for agreeing to do this, and especially at such short notice, and just getting back and with your travels and everything. So we greatly appreciate your time. I loved having your team on the call too. It was nice to see all your faces. I cannot wait to see you at Summit.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Finally get to meet you in person.
I know, it's going to be so much fun. And also for everyone who is here, so Corey, you're going to be doing, you're going to be a guest on my call on, I think it's August 17th, right?
Yep, I think that's what we talked about. Yep.
Yeah, so you guys can mark that in your books as well. I'm excited to hear what you're going to share. And you're going to be talking about recruiting, Yes, I'm really excited about that.
Yes, recruiting and gaining momentum in your business. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And like I said, thanks for having me. It's been fun to share with some new people. So I'm thankful for that opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you everybody for jumping on the call. I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. I hope to see some new faces at Summit, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.